Hi, I'm Richard Friedman, and welcome to my video cartoon for June 2nd, 2025. Introducing into this cartoon, here we have President Trump in the Oval Office. He summoned Fed Chair Jerome Powell to this meeting with him in the White House here regarding President Trump really wants those interest rates lowered. And so far, Powell has been very stern in not doing so. And here is basically the essence of the cartoon. Here are some of the founding fathers in the background here that we have here. Say right over here is Benjamin Franklin, and he was a sign of the Declaration of Independence, and basically he took part in the Treaty of Paris, which ended the Revolutionary War. In the terms of the treaty with England, there he is, sitting behind their meeting, Benjamin Franklin. And there we have George Washington, the first president of the United States. Founding father also presided and commanded the Continental Army, leading the Patriots to victory in the Revolutionary War. Victory in the Revolutionary War. That was then he was General Washington, became again our first president of the United States. And here is Thomas Jefferson. Also, he was our third president from 1801 to 1809. And he was a primary author of our Declaration of Independence from Great Britain. So these are three founding fathers here. Again, that's Benjamin Franklin here, sitting, watching this meeting going on here. Here's George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Okay, and here is the Oval Office with President Trump's, I guess some of his trophies and his look. The look of gold that he's brought to the Oval Office here. There it is. And here is President Trump. And here is Jerome Powell. Okay, and the title of this cartoon is Richard's Trump Meeting with Fed Chair Powell for Lowering of Interest Rates. Amid Powell's position, doing so could lead to further inflation. Because if you lower interest rates, people are going to start borrowing more money. More money is going to be injected into the economy. And the more money you have chasing the fewer goods that I suppose we're going to have because of the tariffs, there's going to be few goods around, that is going to make inflation, could make inflation even worse. So that's Powell's position here on that. You know, I injected the tariffs. I don't think, from what I read, I really got into this to try to learn how this meeting went and the theme here. And I don't think they got into tariffs, but I'm injecting that on my own self to say to you that when you lower the interest rates, you increase the demand for goods because people have more money, and increased demand with no more goods creates an inflationary thing. That's Echo 101. So that's it there basically. So here's I want to read to you the background here of this thing. Here is Richard's Trump meeting with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on last Thursday for the first time since returning to the White House, given President Trump appointed Powell to head the U.S. banks starting in 2018 during his first term. He appointed him. And in the past, Trump has described Powell as, quote, a fool and a major loser. And amid saying the Fed chief's termination cannot come, quote, fast enough. With those harsh words, many coming from Powell's failure to support lower interest rates. Okay, so that's the beef that President Trump has with Powell mainly, is not lowering the interest rates. Okay, now here is the cartoon that I've got here. Oh, and one other thing is, that you might ask yourself, why didn't President Trump fire Powell like he's fired everybody else? Well, the thing was that when he was saying all these things against Powell, the stock market, in concert with that, the stock market tanked. You see, and that if you start removing a center block is the Federal Reserve, which controls the monetary policy. So if you start, and then that's going to be President Trump is going to be in charge of monetary policy also, aside from everything else. So then you're really creating a uncertainty in the in people of what's going to go on here even more, and so people start selling off stocks, hypothetically, and the stock market began to tank even more when President Trump was talking about that. So President Trump doesn't want to mess with the stock market because that's right into people's pocketbook. You know, their 401ks and their children's college education fund and the money they have and all that. So President Trump doesn't want to mess with that. So he called this meeting here probably to try to reason and get Powell to reason economically with Powell to try to get him to lower the interest rates. I mean, he didn't call there for McDonald's and Diet Coke and let's have some McDonald's and Diet Coke together this afternoon. You know, we'll talk about old times. He didn't do that. This was to lower the interest rates. So anyway, here it is. I brought you these. These were the founding fathers on top, trying to give you, capturing the Oval Office here with the look of gold. And here are the three founding fathers again. Again, that's Benjamin Franklin. Here, Benjamin Franklin. The first president, George Washington. And the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, who was very, very influential in writing our Declaration of Independence. Okay? And I want to mention further that Franklin played a big role in the Treaty of Paris, which we signed a treaty with Great Britain ending the Revolutionary War. So there it is. So I'm going to read you the cartoon here, and here it goes. Here they are in front of the fireplace in the Oval Office. Let's take a look. Just get an overview here. There they are. And here we go. Zoom on in here. Okay. And here goes Powell. Mr. President, I know why you summoned me here today, but the Fed interest rate policy will be guided by stable prices and economic data and none political analysis. And here goes President. That was Powell here. Okay, there he said that. There you go. Okay. And here goes President Trump retorting back in a feisty way, very feisty. There he is. And he's saying, Mr. Powell, you are making a mistake by not lowering interest rates. You are making a mistake by not lowering interest rates. And it only helps China and other countries. Everything is stable. The inflation is all from Biden. The inflation is all from Biden. And my beautiful tariffs are making us richer and richer every day. There it is. You could read what President Trump said here. Folks, I want to thank you very much for watching my video cartoon. God bless you, and stay well, and I'll see you next time. Bye.